nobody notices the maid. That's the rule, right? Keep your head down, clean up their mess, disappear before they finish their next drink. That night, I was just another body in a grey uniform, clearing crystal glasses at a corporate retreat full of champagne, suits, and self-congratulations. Aspen Pines Resort, top shelf everything, fake smiles everywhere. But me? I was just there to work. Or at least, that's what they thought. Now picture this: Elliot Vance, CEO of the year, struts in like he owns the oxygen. Polished shoes, $5,000 suit, salt and pepper hair that probably takes 2 stylists to maintain. He grabs the mic and starts preaching leadership like it's a TED Talk. Vision, power, discipline, the usual. Then he drops this line: there are those who serve and those who lead. And everyone laughs, because no one in that room thinks they're the ones serving. Except me. But here's the kicker: he didn't recognize me. 8 years ago, I was top of my class at Georgetown Law. And he was the visiting professor who decided I needed to be taught a lesson. One question, just one, challenging him on corporate ethics, and suddenly I was a problem. The scholarship vanished. Internship offers dried up. Then came the rumors: cheating, dishonesty, unfit for the profession. None of it was true, but it didn't have to be. He wrote one letter. That was enough. And now he was yelling at me for a spilled glass of wine. This is a $5,000 suit, he barked, red-faced and loud, like he wanted everyone to hear. Can't you people do anything right? I stood up. Calm. Cloth in hand. You taught me more than you know, Professor Vance. His face went ghost white. Silence. The kind that sucks the air right out of a ballroom. Now, let me back up a sec. Claire Harper, VP of Communications, she saw all this go down. She wasn't like the others. She watched me differently. Later, she asked who I really was. So, I told her. Not all of it, not yet. Just enough. Turns out Claire had her own doubts. Elliot had a reputation for being demanding, but the kind of demanding that made women disappear. Assistants, interns, rising stars. Always burned out or moving on. She started digging. Found Rebecca Wintersa, former exec assistant who vanished after raising concerns about financial fraud. Now she's painting landscapes in Oregon, if that tells you anything. Meanwhile, Malcolm Elliott's son, recent business grad, had been watching, too. That night shook him. We talked. Quietly. He started pulling threads. One thing led to another and we found it. A storage unit. Dozens of NDA files, character reference letters crafted like weapons, glowing for the obedient, damning for anyone who questioned him. Mine was in there. I read it aloud to Claire. Malcolm turned pale. But the real twist? Elliot had hired a private investigator, Roy Callet, to dig up dirt on me. Only Callet didn't find dirt. He found the truth. And suddenly, the man hired to destroy my credibility was helping prove my case. So, we took it to the board. I walked into that meeting no longer in uniform. Slacks. Blouse. Evidence in hand. I told them everything. And when Elliot tried to shut it down, Claire backed me. Malcolm presented the files. Keller handed over a flash drive. Emails. Signatures. Financial fraud. Systemic sabotage. They voted. Elliot was out. He screamed, threatened lawsuits, threw every cliché in the CEO meltdown playbook. Security walked him out while the staff, those same invisible people, lined the hall in silence. I stood among them. Didn't say a word. I didn't have to. After that, Claire took over as interim CEO. Malcolm left to start a non-profit for corporate accountability. And me? They offered a settlement. I almost walked away. But Claire offered something more: head of ethics. Build a system that couldn't be weaponized the way it had been against me. So I said yes. And that's how the Maid became the director. You know what the wildest part is? Months later, I'm walking through the same halls where I used to carry cleaning supplies, and now people are asking me for policy advice. HR is being rebuilt. We've got transparency audits, anonymous reporting tools, mentorship for underrepresented staff. They even framed my old uniform, put it on display in our new ethics office with a plaque that says, "She stood up." Last week, Claire and I launched the one-sentence project mentorship for women who've been silenced, dismissed, erased. And when someone asked me what changed everything, I told them, it wasn't rage, it wasn't Revengite, was a sentence. One sentence that refused to disappear. You taught me more than you know. The funny thing is, he did. Now here's the part one didn't expect. People want to know if I'd ever meet with Elliot again. If I'd forgive him. If I'd want to see his face, now that everything's out. And I don't know. Maybe the real power is that I don't need to. What I do know is this: justice doesn't always show up with fanfare. Sometimes it walks in wearing a maid's uniform, carrying a cloth, and leaves wearing a badge that says director. So let me ask you, if someone tried to erase your story, your truth, what would your one sentence be? Drop it in the comments. Let's see how loud silence can get when we finally speak. And if this story hit something and you share it, someone out there might be waiting for a reason to stand up. One sentence. That's all it takes.